Hello there YouTube, StrikeMaster381 here. And I know a lot of, well, probably one person has been wondering why I didn't do a Week 10 NFL schedule this week or for Week 10, and that's basically because I was kind of busy, mainly with trying to do a giveaway that I'm doing on my channel, and recently things started getting a little hectic, and so thinking about how I was gonna fine-tune the giveaway I'm doing. So ultimately my pregame my normal pregame lineup did not happen this week, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean I can't give you anything of Week 10. So I thought I would give you all the scores and schedules of Week 10. Now, the reason I'm doing this video late is because I was waiting for the results of the Panthers-Eagles game that just happened, which just ended. So now everything is up to date. And as far as the standings, everything is where it should be. So, without further ado, let's get to all the results and maybe some of my reaction to some of those games. So, everyone already knows the Thursday night game. Come on. Everyone already knows. Browns trounced the Bengals. The Bengals basically had no answer at all, just scoring 3 points in the first quarter. That is it. They went scoreless the rest of the way. And, sorry, just making a note here. The Browns trounced the Bengals. I mean, no contest. It was like, Bengals didn't even show up. I don't know what's wrong with Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton's done with the Bengals. I really do. But anyway, Browns beat the Bengals 24-3. Almost a shutout. They basically just let them have the field goal. Like, Bengals had nothing. Excuse me while I drink some water. Mouth does get parched a lot, so. So that was Thursday. And then here's Sunday. All the early games that were at 1 o'clock. There was the Chiefs and the Bills. Oh, by the way, Browns improved to 6-3. Bengals improved to Bengals fall to 5-3-1. Because I always announce what their rankings are, so I might as well mention that before anyone tries to correct me. Like, what are the rankings? But I got you. So there was the Chiefs and the Bills. That one was a much closer one than Thursday night game. That was the first game that I have on the list from 1 o'clock. Chiefs ended up winning 17-3, improving to 6-3. And the Bills falling to 5-4. Still pretty close. The Bills are. Then the Titans and Ravens. Ravens basically shut them out. And Ravens ended up winning 21-7. So Ravens improved to 6-4. Titans fall to 2-7. But of course, it's the Titans. What do you expect? Especially when they lost Chris Young. Let's be honest. I mean, Chris Young was their ace. Please excuse me while I make some final notes. I normally do this before the video, but for some reason I forgot to make this one last remark that I need to make on my little sheet here. How professional of me, huh? How professional. Sorry about that. Okay, that was just the first game. Okay. Already mentioned that. Alright. Cowboys versus Jaguars in London with Romo back in the lineup, showing no signs of his injury whatsoever, trounced the Jaguars 31-17. Yeah, but of course, then again, it's the Jaguars, a depleted Jaguars that hasn't had anything in the last few years now. So Cowboys improved to 7-3. Jaguars fall to 1-9. Like, literally, who can beat the Jaguars at this point? And then we got the Dolphins and Lions. That one was pretty close and ended up being a last-minute touchdown that ended up winning the game. The Lions beating the Dolphins and quietly climbing up to 7-2 in their division with the lead. Dolphins falling to 5-4, but the Dolphins still have a good chance of making playoffs at this point, especially the way all the divisions are. But we'll get to that in a little while. Then we got the 49ers versus the Saints at the Superdome. And guess what? Saints actually lost at the Superdome for the first time in almost 2 years or so. The Saints finally lose at home. Ain't that crazy? To the 49ers, no less. Who basically, their season is basically on a thin line right now, especially in their division. But the 49ers saved their season with a 27-24 victory over the Saints. Pretty close. It was pretty close. Literally, it was Kaepernick and his never quit, never die attitude, keeping the play alive with his legs, finding that receiver, sending the game into overtime, and ultimately winning the game after a turnover. 27-24. Wow, that was a big, close game. So the 49ers improved to 5-4 and saved their season for the moment. Saints going to 4-5, but because of how bad the North is playing, how bad the South. See, corrected myself there. I know someone's going to correct me there. But considering how bad the NFC South is playing this year, it's quite possible that we could have someone with the worst losing record from the South and still make the playoffs, which is ridiculous, to be honest. But anyway, Steelers versus the Jets. Now, I was not giving the Jets any hope in that, because basically all the Jets could do is play spoilers, because the best they could do at this point is go 8-8. But even then, they're still not going to make the playoffs with all the other teams the way they're playing, especially with the NFC North. The NFC North is a beast this year. And like, the way the division are, their only hope of making the playoffs is if basically if the Bills, the Dolphins, Bengals, Steelers, Ravens, or Browns, Chiefs, Chargers, Texans, and maybe even the Colts lose at least 4 of their next 5 games, which that's not gonna happen. Let's be honest, that's not gonna happen. So all they can do is play spoiler at this point and probably go 8-8 at best. But yet somehow, even with Michael Vick, which I said is a bad idea, they should have went with Sims, but somehow it worked out because it was the Steelers. And the Jets were able to finally get a win, another win, and at home with a 20-13 victory. Although the stat sheets show it was a close game, it actually was not most of the game. It only got close in the fourth quarter. That was because the Jets defense started sleeping. But the Jets finally get a second win and go to 2-8. Steelers do fall to 6-4, but are still pretty good in their division right now. The last 1 o'clock game was the Falcons versus the Buccaneers. Falcons. Sorry, trying to check. Yeah, Falcons are in the South, so they basically still have a shot to make the playoffs, which is ridiculous. It really is ridiculous, but Falcons basically saved their season with that win over the Buccaneers with a 27-17 victory, a 10-point win, improving to 3-6. Buccaneers falling to 1-8. The 4:05 game, Broncos versus the Raiders. I bet all of you could guess, even without looking at the score, who won. Broncos. No contest, Broncos. 41-17. Now, it was close early in the game, but then the Broncos just pulled away from that. 41-17. So the Broncos improved to 7-2 and are still in charge of their division, while the Raiders are still trying to look for that first win with a winless record of 0-9. They're the only winless team left, and at the rate the Raiders are going, it looks like they could go through the entire season without a win. I mean, it could be the first time that we have a winless team in the regular season. Really is possible. And the Broncos and Raiders are both in the same division too, so we'll move on. That was the 4:05 game. The 4:25 game, Giants versus the Seahawks. Under normal circumstances, that would have been a good game, but with the way the Giants have been playing, I'm pretty sure the Giants was going to lose. And I was right. Seahawks beat them 38-17. Giants falling to 3-6. Seahawks improving to 6-3 and also saving their season with that win. And as for the Giants, oddly enough, Giants and Redskins still have a chance, but they really would have to win the rest of their games from this point on and hope the Cowboys and Eagles fall. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to come down between the Eagles and the Cowboys this year, and I think maybe the Cowboys will get the edge finally this year. Although the Eagles is looking solid, although I really, really don't want Sanchez there. Because Sanchez isn't the quarterback that we all expected. But then again, when he was with the Jets, they weren't utilizing his actual abilities. So, who knows? He's under a 1-year contract. I really don't think Sanchez is going to be that great of an asset, but could prove me wrong. He could prove me wrong. The Eagles could be utilizing him to best suit his abilities and what he's actually good at as far as a quarterback, compared to what they tried to use him back when he was with the Jets. We'll see. Anyway, back to the lineups. Rams and Cardinals. Obviously, Cardinals ended up winning that one, 31-14. Like, it was really no contest. Excuse me. Cardinals improving to 8-1 and being the first team with 8 wins, while the Rams fall to 3-6. Where are the freaking Rams? They're out in the West. Yeah, Rams aren't going to make the playoffs, but they sure could play spoilers. Okay, then there was the 8:30 game that was on NBC. That was the Sunday night game. Bears versus Packers. All I can say about that game is total dominance by the Packers. I have a little glare there, but total dominance by the Packers. Like it wasn't even a contest. Jay Cutler, I don't know what's going on with Jay Cutler. It looks like if they're gonna stick with Jay Cutler, they got to do something with him. Otherwise, I don't see him being with the team anymore after this year. I seriously think they're gonna go to a different quarterback. But anyway, Packers trounced the Bears at Lambeau Field, 55-14. That literally was the only game where it became a complete shutout this week. The only thing that tops that is the Monday night game, which I'll get to soon in a second. I want to quickly mention Packers improved to 6-3 and are literally just an inch closer to getting the Lions, to getting their division, because they are in the same division as the Lions. Lions have the division right now. The Packers are quietly creeping up on them. Packers were literally just one game away from taking the lead in the NFC North. And I think they face each other within the next 3-4 games. So that could be the deciding game. Matter of fact, they face each other in the last week 17 of the regular season. So that could end up deciding the North. That game could end up deciding who ends up getting the division in the NFC North. And that one's going to be at Lambeau Field. I remember that because I definitely looked that up. And the Bears fall into 3-6, and Bears have no shot. Bears have no shot. They're also in the North, but they have no shot. The way the Packers and the Lions are playing, they have no shot. They have no shot. And then the only game that tops that, the only game that comes close to that would be the Monday night game that ended about an hour ago, where the Eagles with Mark Sanchez surprisingly trounced the Panthers 45-21. It was actually 45-7 when I looked it up around 10:30. Panthers tried to make something out of it, but it was too far of a deficit, and they were trying to do everything in the fourth quarter. It was not going to work. 45-21 victory. Eagles improving to 7-2. Panthers falling to 3-6-1. Though Panthers still have a chance to win in their division with the way the NFC South is going. NFC South. I hate to think of a losing record team getting into the playoffs just because of the division shit. When there's so many other teams that are more well deserving with a much better record. Forgive me. That does make me mad to the point where I gotta drink some water. So, the AFC standings, we're going to start with the AFC in the order that I was able to find them. So it's not in any particular order. With the AFC, currently in the East, we have the Patriots in the lead of their division with a 7-2 record with a winning percentage of .778 or 77.8%. The Bills are second with a 5-4 record, percentage of 55.6. Dolphins, same record, same story. And the Jets, 2-8 with a percentage of 20%. They're not making it. They're not even going to come close. Let's be honest. They are not even going to come close. I don't think any New York team is even going to make the playoffs this year, just like they didn't make the playoffs last year, you know what I mean? Fuck New York sometimes. But no. I don't know what's going on with the Jets. As far as the Giants, trying to learn a new offense, I think was the worst thing. Eli's trying to make something out of it, but Eli is not Peyton. There may be one day where he comes close to it, but he's not Peyton. I don't think anyone could be Peyton. Peyton Manning. Anywho, out in the North, we have the Browns surprisingly on top with a 6-3 record with a percentage of 66.7. Yeah, that's right. I said it. The Browns. Wow. Wow, the Browns. I think the Browns could end up taking the division this year. That would be a first and a big shocker. Bengals fall into second with a 5-3-1 record only because they got the draw with a 61.1% percentage of win. Now here's where I confused myself last week. Because the Steelers ended up beating the Ravens the other week, the Steelers have the tiebreaker right now. So the Steelers are in third with a 6-4 record with a 60% winning percentage. And sorry, I just want to make sure. That was week 9? Shit, okay. And then the Ravens in fourth with a 6-4 record and a 60% win percentage. Note, the AFC North is the only division where none of the teams have a losing record. So all 4 teams in that division still have a chance to win the division or a wild card spot. Isn't that the crazy shit? Wow. We got the West, where the Broncos are leading with a 7-2 record with a 77.8 percentage. Chiefs 6-3. They still got a chance to catch up with a 66.7 percentage. Chargers with a 5-4 record, 55.6. They still have a shot, but they got to improve quickly. And Raiders, no chance, 0-9, 0%. No chance. Sorry, Raiders fans. They got no chance. And then there's the South with the Colts on top with a 6-3 record, 66.7. Then the Texans with a 4-5 record, 44.4. Titans with a 2-7, 22.2. Jaguars 1-9 with a 10%. 10%. Really? Anywho. Looks like the Colts will take the South because they're the only team in the South with a winning record. The rest of the teams have a losing record and have a lot of ground to catch up on. Still possible, but the way the Colts are playing, looks like the Texans, Titans are going to be on the outside looking in at this point. Now in the NFC South, the South is basically the opposite of the North, and I'll get to that in a second. Saints is still on top with a 4-5 record, 44.4%. Panthers with the 3-6-1 record with a 35%. Falcons 3-6, 33.3, and Buccaneers 1-8, 11.1. The South is the opposite of the AFC North. The South is the one division where no one has a winning record. Last week the Saints were about even. Now, no one in that division has a winning record whatsoever. Which means, which is what I hate would happen, is that you could have someone from the NFC South win the division with a losing record, which means everyone in the NFC South, as of right now, still has a shot to make the playoffs in their division. with a losing record. I hope that changes soon because I would hate for that to happen because there's so many other good teams that are more well-deserving to be in the playoffs and they can't because of the way the divisions are. And because there has to be a winner from each division, even with a losing record. When there's teams that are more well-deserving than that. That is bullshit, I'd say. That is utter bullshit. But anyway, back to the rankings. The North, with the Lions quietly at 7-2 with a 77.8. Packers slowly catching up with a 6-3, 66.7. Vikings 4-5, and still has a chance to actually make the playoffs. 44.4. Bears 3-6, 33.3, and they really have no chance at this point. They're done. I think they gave up. They've given up. The East, NFC East. Eagles now at 7-2 with a 77.8. Cowboys fall into second, 7-3 with a 70%. And then the Giants and Redskins both at 3-6, 33.3. Giants get third place because they won against the Redskins already. But honestly, I don't see them even winning the East this year unless they get lucky and the Eagles and Cowboys fall down in the next 5 games. I don't see that happening. Although I do believe the Giants will at least improve. Maybe improve to, I'd say 9-7. 9-7? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah. Yeah, they have a chance to improve to maybe 9-7, but they gotta improve quickly. Redskins, I don't know where they're going. And then the West, we got the Cardinals, the only team with 8 wins, 8-1, 88.9. Seahawks at 6-3 with a season-saving win over the Giants with a 6-3, 66.7. 49ers with a season-saving win against the Saints who were at home in the Superdome, finally giving the Saints their first loss at the Superdome in a long time with a 5-4 record, 55.6, and the Rams 3-6, 33.3. At this point, they're only playing spoilers as well. So a lot of potentials right now. If the regular season was to end right now and we were to go into playoffs, you'd have the Patriots taking the East, the Browns taking the North, the Broncos taking the West, the Colts taking the South, with this could get interesting. With probably the Chiefs and this is difficult. Probably the Chiefs and either the Steelers or the Ravens taking wildcard spots 1 and 2 respectively. And I think the Patriots and Broncos would be seeds 1 and 2 respectively. In the NFC, if the regular season was to end today, you'd have the Saints in the South, the Lions winning the North, the Eagles winning the East, and the Cardinals winning the West, with the Cowboys and this could be a toss-up. I wouldn't know. The second one, I wouldn't know. It would be a toss-up between the Seahawks and the Packers. It would have to depend on their record and how many wins they got in their division. say it could go to the Packers, and the Seahawks wouldn't even be able to play in the playoffs this year to defend their title. But again, that's if the season was to end today, obviously. But definitely the Cowboys would be in it at that point, and I think it would be the Pack. I'd give it to the Packers only because they got the leg up there. But it could go to the Seahawks, and they could be defending the title. Again, that's if the season was to end today. But the fact that you have to take one person from each division, no matter what, even with a losing record, is utter bullshit. Because there's so many other deserving teams that deserve to go in. Personally, if the season was to end today, the way the score is, I would say it'd be the Lions, it'd be the Cardinals, Lions, Eagles at 1, 2, and 3 respectively. Cowboys get the 4th spot. And 5th and 6th will go to the Packers and the Seahawks. That's how I would see it. In fact, I think the NFL should change that up a bit. So that if there's a division that has losing records with other teams that are more deserving, the teams that are more deserving should get that playoff spot, and not the division winner of that division with the losing record. Personally. Anyway, that's going to end my rant here because I could go on and on and on, and this video is already going 32 minutes long and counting, and I really don't want this to be any longer. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed maybe some of my rants. If there's any teams you'd like to see in the playoffs, let me know in the comment section below. You can also hit me up on Twitter or Facebook. You can use the hashtag NFL favorites, I guess. Yeah, NFL favorites. That would be a good hashtag. Use the hashtag NFL favorite. And if you're gonna hit me up on either Facebook or Twitter, or even here in the comment section below, and let me know which teams are your favorites, who you'd like to see in the playoffs, and anything else you'd like to talk about that's football. That's going to do it for me, and now it's 33 minutes long and counting. I will see you next time.